because of what the world has gone through over the past year and some months, this parental stress level. So you say you give them tools to reduce their stress level. So parents who are listening might be curious, what are some of those tools that they perhaps can implement in their day-to-day life and relationship with their children?
So maybe I'll start with that. So helping parents deal with stress. And, sometimes it's as simple as giving parents the tools for learning how to take a pause from and that's like when you feel those stress levels, take 3 deep breaths, notice your connection to the ground. Um, Remind yourself that, this is a difficult thing, but you can do it. Or, those kind of the positive thoughts that can go around to reassuring yourself. And also, if it's really, really difficult, you might need to walk away a little bit so that you can respond in a better way. But the key element we teach, and it begins every session with the parents, is this idea of taking a pause. It comes from mindfulness, so there is an evidence base from it, but it's really derived from those mindfulness practices. And it helps parents connect to their body and to their breath, but also to the present moment so they can see the situation. And we also help them with some mindful physical exercise that can be helpful at getting yourself out of your head. And then also thinking with the stress reduction around how to talk about your emotions, both to your child and about your child's emotions too, can help bring awareness to how people are feeling. And so those are some of the key kind of tips that we give for around stress reduction. I think that one of the other key elements or tips that or skills that maybe that we could talk a little bit about is that importance of spending one-on-one time with your child.
Yes.
So here it's really that, if you find yourself having a difficult relationship with your young child or teenager, it might be because the child needs more positive attention. And children are, I wouldn't say addicted, but it's like a requirement attention. And if they're not getting the positive attention, they'll do something negative to get the negative attention. Because attention is just the bottom line for kids. And so if we can give them that positive attention on a daily basis, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, where you can give your child that opportunity to, and we kind of like think of it as these 3 things to remember: day, play, and stay. So day, do it every day, 5 minutes a day. Play, let your child choose the activity, follow your child's lead. You don't need to know how to play. You don't need to know how to play with your child. You just need to let your child show you what to do. And so really let your child choose the activity and then follow your child during that activity. And if it's a teenager, maybe it's about a conversation, choose the conversation. And then the last was stay, and that's keep your attention on the child. Turn your phone off or put it on silent. Turn off the TV unless that's something that you're doing with your child. So really keep your focus on your child and try and keep that dedicated time. So that's just day, play, and stay, I think, are
Yes.
the real important things.
The day, play, and stay. I really like that, and you are actually correct because with the attention, because in my research life aspect of that, I was involved in research that looks at building intimacy with children, and that's one of the key elements is spending that one-on-one time because children want to feel that they absolutely matter. As you were speaking earlier, the thing about pause, I know from some cultural elements, parents might feel if I don't act now, my child is going to get out of control. This is going to become an unruly situation. And I might be raising a brat. And so I can't deal with this pause thing. I need to go ahead and exercise control. In your program or your experiences executing this program, did you meet upon that? And what did you say to parents? Because you might have parents listening now and saying, yeah, pause sounds good, but in this moment, as the adult, I need to take control,
It's
right?
totally true. You don't have 30 seconds to be like, oh, my kid's going to go running into the street. Let me just take a breath for 30 seconds and I'll be right back. No, sometimes you have to act straight away.
Yes.
I think that, but it can be taking a pause, can be just one breath even, like, okay, do this.
Yes.
Or if you practice it regularly, you'll be more present already. Sometimes you have to be really present. And one of the key skills that we help parents learn is around redirect. So a lot of times we're telling kids, don't do this, or stop doing that, or we are not paying attention to our child and they get into something really difficult, and or we are engaging in a kind of coercive or back and forth relationship, and it escalates into a tantrum or something like that. So what we try and do is help parents learn this idea of redirect, which is kind of like stop it before it gets worse. And it's really around paying attention to your child. So it's about being calm, being fair, and then being positive, to use positive instructions to redirect your child right at the beginning from a negative to a positive behavior, to catch that behavior before it occurs or early on. And then really, instead of saying, stop doing that, like stop running in the house, which actually brings attention to running in the house, you bring your child's attention to something else. Like, why don't you come over here and sit down with me and we can plan dinner together, or something like that, where you're bringing your child and involving them into a positive activity. Instead of bringing the attention to something negative that you want to get rid of, bring attention to something that you really like to see more of. And then when your child does redirect the behavior, you can use positive verbal or physical gestures to encourage that. So that could be like, it's so great that you're sitting down with me. So it's not like a praise of like, you're such a good boy, but actually describing like appreciation for what the child is doing. That redirect, we find that parents really find it a really useful tool to avoiding problems instead of having to respond and dealing with problems.
Yes.
There are other tools that you can use for like dealing with problems,
Yeah.
but the idea is really, and I like to think of it as a sunshine of positive attention. So really you're trying to keep a child in that sunshine as much as possible. And I like to also even say that, like, consequences or dealing with tantrums, those aren't punishments. Discipline isn't a punishment, but more of an opportunity of helping your child learn responsibility for action, or learning that they do not get attention when they have a tantrum, but rather, this is what they do when they do get attention. So I think of them as kind of non-punitive, but actually really effective and helpful, nurturing parenting.
Yes. And as you were speaking, I thought when children feel good, they do good. So you give them the
Mm-hmm.
positive attention, they feel good. It's just a natural human process to do good. Because if you're feeling great, you're not going to be doing anything bad or disruptive and so on. So
I mean,
it's
it's
just to
amazing
remember
that
that.
even after the first couple of sessions of some of these programs, when the parents are spending that time, one-on-one time with their children,
Yeah.
they come back and they say, my goal for this program was that my child would, clean his, make his bed, or pick up his school clothes after school if they were wearing a uniform. And they haven't even gone to the part of the program where we're talking about more effective instructions or setting up a household rule, or
Yeah.
what do you do when your child doesn't follow the rule. But they're saying, just by investing in the time, my child is now doing this without me asking.
Yes.
And it's really incredible, that positive. So that's why we really focus in our program on those positive parent-child relationship building activities. We call those the walls of our house of support. And without
Yes.
a strong wall, you can't have a roof. And the roof is where the discipline happens.
Yes, it's reciprocal. Relationship is reciprocal. What you give is what you get. So if your child is really acting out, it's to really ask yourself, am I filling my child's cup up with good interactions, good feelings?